is nothing in my past that you could shame me with.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Maybe.
And it took a long time to get there.
Yes.
It took me a long time to not be embarrassed by some of the decisions I made, or to feel guilty for the decisions I made, or to make myself a bad person because of the decisions I made. And when you peel off the layers, you're like, well, why did I feel guilty or bad in the first place? Who was it that, like, what rules did I break that justified this judgment I have about myself? And I realized they're not my rules. They weren't my judgments. They were the rules and judgments of my parents. But who taught it to them? Their parents. And who taught it to them? Their parents. This is the way we're supposed to act. This is what a good little boy is, and this is what a bad little boy is. This is what is normal, and we can all relate to this. This is what normal sexual behavior is, and this is abnormal sexual behavior. And they believe that insanity so much that they've gotten doctors to sign off that this was a mental illness. Being gay used to be a mental illness until gay people, LGBTQ people, got willing enough to love themselves to transcend that belief. We brought enough light into it so that there was no darkness available. And more, we become more willing to love ourselves. We become more willing to understand that there is nothing wrong with us. And indeed, we are perfect, whole, and complete because we are extensions of pure perfection. We are as God made us. So how could we be flawed in any way? The only thing that is flawed is our perception of ourselves. So if you look in that mirror and you see something, anything that isn't perfect, whole, and complete, that isn't perfectly innocent, you need to adjust your seeing. That's it. And how do we adjust our seeing? We work in the level of the mind. We work at the beliefs. And so it behooves us to question the belief systems that we judge ourselves by. Who says I can't do this? Who says I can't love this person? Who says I can't love multiple people at the same time? Who says I have to adhere to a traditional relationship? Who says I have to do this job? Who says I have to look this way? Who says that this diet is more spiritual than this diet? Who says that this way to dress is more spiritual than this way to dress? Who says that you got to do the yoga? Who says you got to do the CrossFit? Mostly people who are going to make money making you believe that. And if you really break down a lot of it, I remember Reverend Roxy was talking about like how much of a money-making industry the belief in traditional relationships is, like multi-billion-dollar relationships, because think about that. If we believe we have to be in a traditional, monogamous relationship, how much money do people spend to get that? Lots. And then how much money do people spend to work through all of the insanity that comes up because they feel obligated to stay in that relationship? And now we go to relationship counseling. And now we do this. And now I have to buy this stuff to spice up my marriage because if my man isn't turned on by me, then I'm doing something wrong. If we're not having sex 3 days a week, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with our relationship. It's broken. How do I know that? Because Cosmo told me. And Cosmo knows all. They don't have sponsors that are paying them to make sure that we are printing certain articles so that they can sell their products through us. We have to question the belief systems, because when we peel away the layers, when we follow the belief systems back, we get that it's just nuts. It's traditional Christian Judaic belief systems that were put in place by people who want to control other people. So many of the things that we think we have to do, that belief system was there by people who know how to control other people. Because the people who tend to break out of that and become super successful don't adhere by the traditional belief systems. They are willing to question it. And my God, at least the people who are really happy, the people who are really interested in living an authentic life. And the good news about living an authentic life, if you're truly authentic, then you are tapped into infinite resources that are flowing through you and are going to clear the path so you can do what it is that turns you on. We are supposed to enjoy our life. We are supposed to go to follow our bliss, go towards that which makes our hearts sing. But if you are sitting there questioning yourself, blaming yourself, carrying around shame, blame, regret, resentment, that's like carrying around a bag of bricks so you can't get there and you wonder why I'm doing all this affirmation work. I have vision boards all over my freaking house. You know, I'm saying affirmations. Brandon told me to get naked and look at myself in the mirror. I'm doing it. But nothing's happening. It's because my dad. You know, so we gotta look at the resentments that are preventing us from seeing ourselves clearly. And sometimes in the process, it helps to start with other people. Because sometimes the voices in our head are so vicious, so loud, that we can't believe it about ourselves, but we're willing to believe it about someone else. And so that's oftentimes where we begin the process of self-forgiveness. We're willing to believe that someone else could be innocent.